Hello, and welcome to the Carla Knits Podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, sometimes crocheting, but always all of the yarny goodness that I love. Today is Wednesday, October 26th, and you are joining me for episode 61. A big thank you to all returning viewers and subscribers, and if you're new, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by and check this podcast out. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry and my Etsy shop as cbcraftygirl. And all notes for this podcast are in the down bar down below. So places you can find me and patterns I talk about, yarns, other podcasts I talk about. And we also have a podcast group for Carla Knits on Ravelry, and that will be linked also. We'd love to have you join us. Currently, we have a make-along going on. It's a year-long make-along using your stash. So it's called Love Your Stash Make-Along 2022. And this is to use yarn that was in your stash prior to January 1st of this year. And you guys are doing so great. I know I say this, almost every episode, but I'm so impressed with how well you guys are using your yarn from your stash. There's 860, 870 finished objects, I think. So you guys are just doing great. And it's so much fun to go in and look at everything. I haven't been quite as active in the last month. It's been a busy month, but I do try to pop in when I can, and I do see everything. I don't comment on everything in the chatter group, because boy, that would take a long time, but I do try to respond to some of the comments and jump in on the fun in the chatter. So it really is a lovely group of knitters and crocheters in there. So if you'd like to join in with the chatting and using your stash, it's a great group of friends to have. So please feel free to join us over there. Let's see. I was trying to think if there's any other admin. Yes, one other thing. The 12 skeins of Christmas mini skein swap. For those of you who are participating, you should be kind of rounding up, finishing up your packages and getting ready to mail those out by November 1st. And I know a couple people have already mailed theirs out, so you guys are doing better than me. If you could see my floor in this room, lots of little skeins of yarn going on, lots of little goodies as I'm working on packaging up my package for my swap partner. So I will be getting that out by October 31st or November 1st. I guess I have till next Tuesday, so that's good. But so yes, that was just a friendly reminder to make sure that you are ready to get your packages out. And if for any reason you are having problems doing that, or life has happened and you aren't able to participate anymore, please contact me, because there are people who are willing to step in and help. So just want it to be a really fun swap for everybody who is participating. Okay, so the 2 weeks goes by fast. It has gone by fast since I've spoken to you last. Excuse me a minute. I have my Diet Mountain Dew. That is my favorite drink. I think I shared before, I am not a coffee drinker, but Diet Mountain Dew is my favorite drink. So I have that in the afternoon when I come home from work. So I have worked today. I guess I'm chatting a little bit at the top of the hour. I started out by going to chapel at our school and church down the road. One of my piano students played for chapel as the students were coming in. So I wanted to make sure that I was there for her, and she did a lovely job. And then I did have some piano students at the school this morning, and then I had my college students this afternoon. And now I'm excited to be here and to share what I have been working on. So we will go ahead and do that. So this is kind of a strange episode. I have 4 finished objects and I have 1 whip. So all of my finished objects I've been checking off my whip list, and it came down to they're all finished, and then I started something yesterday. So we'll get into finished objects here. You may have spotted I am wearing the Sandshore Cardigan by Alicia Plummer. I knit this out of Loops and Threads, Michael's brand, Creme cotton in a light silver. I think it was a light silver or light gray color. I could not be happier with this sweater. The yarn is so soft and yeah, just so very soft and really very comfortable. It is a, oh, I don't remember, cotton, and there may have been something else in there too, but very lightweight, very soft. Let's see. The pattern just shows like elbow length sleeves, but I decided to do it all the way down, and I'm very happy. They're probably bracelet length, although when I'm standing up they do hang a little further down, but they don't get into my, they're not too long by any means. So I'm really happy with the length of this. I will try to stand up a little bit and show you some of the detail in the back. Hopefully you can see the beautiful mesh pattern down the back. And then it also has it in the middle, or just below the middle section of the sweater. So I just finished this weaving in ends 2 days ago, although when I was blocking it yesterday, I did discover some more ends that needed to be weaved in on my sleeve. So I still need to do that. But I did soak it for a while. It smells really good. I use the wool wash soak in the yuzu, I think I'm saying that right. I was gonna say colorway, yuzu scent or flavor way scent, and I really love that scent. And so I towel dried it, you know, squished out all the excess water, laid it flat to dry, and it mostly got dry in the course of a day. It was yesterday, and then I thought, well, I'm just gonna put it in the dryer for just a little bit, and so I put it on, you know, the most delicate, least amount of heat in the dryer just to finish it up a little bit, and it came out beautifully. So I could not say anything better. I love this pattern. I love this yarn. So I'm really excited to have this sweater in my wardrobe. But now, having made a couple sweaters back to back, I don't know, I may be feeling a little sweatered out. I'm not sure. I mean, there are definitely sweaters that I want to make, but I don't feel like I'm in a super huge rush to cast them on right now. So I might just, I think I talked the last time, or the last podcast, I might just need, you know, a little break with some smaller projects. We'll see. You know, when the mood strikes, you know, 2 days from now, I might be like, I'm casting on a sweater. And that's great if I do. That's fine. So I think that's all I'd like to say about the sweater. Really love it. Highly recommend the pattern. Highly recommend the yarn too. So, you know, a very affordable sweater using that Michael's yarn. And, you know, if you get it on sale, I don't really remember how much I paid for it, but when when the yarn goes on sale, or if you use your coupons for it, very affordable. So really fun. My second finished object, I will go into some socks. I have 2 pairs of socks. I finished this pair first. So this yarn is by Night Owl Fibers. This is her Halloween colorway. So she calls it Spooky Fun 2022. She had it dyed on her DK base and available on a fingering weight base, but I chose the DK weight. I just thought it would be fun and maybe a quicker project. And it was. So I really enjoyed knitting these beautiful striped socks. I used the Crazy Sock Ladies DK sock pattern, like vanilla DK sock, for it, and I just used a contrasting color for the heel flap, and that is by Lazy Bee Yarns, and I'll talk about that because that yarn's coming up in another project. But really happy with how these turned out. So they are done in time for Halloween. I don't know how cool our forecast is. I think it's going to be in the 50s or 60s for the day on Monday. But in the nighttime, it has been cooling off really nicely. So I actually have been wearing wool socks. I actually wore wool socks to work today. So it was really nice. So that is my first finished pair of socks. And then if you'll give me a few seconds here, I will go into my next finished object, which of course is a second pair of socks. So another DK weight pair. So this yarn that I used is by Freckled Whimsey. So I really like self-striping yarn, and both Night Owl Fiber and Freckled Whimsey are two of my favorites. Of course, I don't think I've met a self-striping yarn that I didn't like, so but these are the Freckled Whimsey. This was I think it was a 24 stripe experiment yarn, so I got that on one of her last sales one of her sales this fall. So I did that. I used the same sock pattern from the Crazy Sock Lady, and again I put in that contrasting color for the heel. I am not opposed to just knitting the heel, you know, with the self-striping yarn and having it do whatever it does. But, you know, this one came with the mini, and I thought it would just be, you know, fun to throw that in. And the Halloween one, I had a good matching yarn, so I did use that contrasting color for the heels. So really happy with both finished pair of DK weight socks. They are going to be nice and cozy for cold, crisp fall evenings or mornings, and certainly this winter. Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit more about my sock knitting in chatter section, because I've had a lot of time, and that's why for some card knitting, and that's why I got some things done. So this is 1, 2, 3, and my fourth, just reaching over here, excuse me a minute, my fourth, I was gonna say final object, I guess it is final. My fourth finished object is my Sonatine Cowl, which you guys kind of helped me pick which color to do the garter and which color to do the lace section in, and I think this turned out so pretty. You might recognize this. This is the yarn I used in that heel for the Halloween sock. Both yarns are by Lazy Bee Yarns, and that is a Lincoln, Nebraska dyer. The speckled color I just think is really fun and autumnal, and it is called Garden Party. And then this color is Tiger Lily, I think. And I'll just slip this over. So I just think this is a really fun cowl, and it's very easy to wear. I don't know if I have it styled exactly. I guess it's okay. I was looking in the mirror over here. I guess it looks okay. So very easy cowl to wear. Just with the construction, you just throw it on, and you know, I love shawls, but sometimes they slip and slide and move a little bit, or maybe have too much bulk when you don't want too much bulk. I mean, I love those for winter time, don't get me wrong, I have lots of them, but this is just so easy to throw on and wear. This was a really fun pattern to knit. Very detailed instructions. I guess the most confusing part for me was the seaming up, and it's just a tiny seam in back. That was that was the most confusing because you were seaming vertical, I'm going vertical garter stitch to horizontal garter stitch, and the pattern did reference a link, so I was able to look that up. I was able to look at some YouTube videos, but I did take it to the library yesterday, to my knitting group, and my friend Lois, I was kind of showing her and we were kind of looking at it together, as far as how to seam it up. So between the two of us, I think it turned out good. So thank you, Lois, for listening and encouraging and helping me with the seaming. It didn't seem like it should be that hard, which ultimately it wasn't. I was just kind of, I don't know, maybe I wasn't in the right headspace for seaming it, but it was only very few stitches. So very, very happy. I think, you know, I've toyed with the idea of maybe casting on another one for a Christmas gift. I think I had said before that I wasn't going to do, I'm sorry, I keep clanging, my sock blockers are on my lap, so I should just take those down. I'm just clanging them, so I'll stop doing that because you may find that annoying. So I had said in earlier, I don't know when, an earlier podcast that I wasn't going to do a whole lot of Christmas gift knitting this year. I do have some things for someone special. Hi, Mom, if you're watching. But I wasn't going to stress out and do a whole lot just because it's been kind of a really busy year. And I knew with upcoming wedding for my son, things are going to get busy. So I may or may not do another cowl, only if I feel like it. So we shall see. But I absolutely loved the pattern, and it was very quick to knit up. And you know, you had the mindless garter stitch section, which was very pleasant, and this yarn is really nice and plump. And then you had the fun, and it was not a hard lace section at all, you know, really enjoyable to work on. And in the grand scheme of things, it's not very much lace, so absolutely loved it. So the Sonatine Cowl. So those are my 4 finished objects, and I only have one whip currently, which feels absolutely crazy. Yeah, I just haven't cast on anything new. I told myself, except for my one whip, I just told myself I was gonna finish something. So I have a bed behind you guys in here. This was my son's room. It still has a bed in case he wants to come home ever and spend the night. But he usually just heads back. He's not too far away. But on the bed, there is my City Limits sweater. There is my pumpkin tweed blanket. I have several project bags. I have several pillows. So it's just, yeah, it's kind of crazy in here right now. And then on the floor, I have packaging for advent calendars. I have lots of my yarn on the floor as I was making mini skeins that haven't been put back away. Lots of stuff. So I am glad that I have finished off some projects, but then I did start something last night because I had to have something to work on. I cannot sit in front of TV at night without having something to work on. So I decided to do a sock, and I just wanted to, I'm saying a lot. If you guys are counting, this could be a fun game today if you've counted how many times I have said that. I decided to cast on a sock, and I just wanted to grab a skein of yarn that was already caked up. So I had a few that were already caked up, or some commercial skeins that I could have just started with, because my craft room table is full of stuff right now, and I need to clean it off so I can swift and wind up some yarn. But I had this skein, so hang on real quick. This is by a homespun house, and it has a little bit of sparkle, which I don't think you can really see it. And actually I can't really see it right now too. There's just little bits here and there. So a little bit of stellene in it, but this was a homespun house. I got this before Molly moved back to Germany. This is a let's see, 75. Well, it has the 5% stellina in it. So what is that? 75, 20, 75 superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. And I think it's a gold stellina in there. This color, I don't have the tag with me, that's upstairs, but it was something about blooms, so kind of a flower reference. But to me, it actually looked a little Christmassy, kind of like the peppermint ice cream. And there's different peppermint ice cream. I really like the peppermint ice cream just for the aesthetic of the pink ice cream with the green and red peppermint candies in it. Of course, there are white peppermint ice creams with the green and red candies in it. Of course, those are good too. But this just reminded me a little bit of peppermint ice cream. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna do something Christmassy. And I wanted to do something besides just a plain vanilla sock. So I found this pattern. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but this is the candy cane socks. And gosh, I cannot remember who it's by now. Did I write it down? I'm not sure, but it is a free pattern. And of course I will link it down below. So if I hold this still enough, maybe you'll be able to see the candy cane lace detail. I was hoping that you would be able to see it a little bit. And I know sometimes in our speckled yarns, patterns can get lost, but I feel like you can still kind of see it. So the pattern, again, it's free. It had a different kind of ribbing at the top, which was fun. I like the way it looks. It was a little hard on the hands. I'm thinking this sock looks a little big. I don't know, some blends of sock yarn just don't stretch back, don't have the bounce factor. So I feel like this is stretching out, and maybe it's because of the eyelets in there too from the candy canes, but I think this is going to turn out being a little big. But at this point, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back and do a smaller needle. I am using a US 1. I have not knit socks on a US 0 ever. And I know the heel part fits me, you know, when I do the heel flap and gusset, that fits me with the US 1. So I'm going to stick with that. The candy cane pattern does go down the whole length of the leg and the foot of the sock, but I don't know if I'm going to do it on the foot yet. I haven't really decided, or if I'm going to just stick with it on the leg portion, you know, after the cuff, the leg portion, and then just switch to straight stockinette. So I haven't decided that yet, but I've kind of just started. So that is, I'm getting started on Christmas. I just thought, yeah, there's no pressure right now, so I might as well just do it just for fun. So just grab something off my shelf. So this is stash yarn, guys. So yay for me. I'm thinking, well, this was stash yarn too. So that was good. Both of those were. The sock yarns were both new. So that's how I'm doing with stash with those projects. So this is my only whip. So what am I going to cast on? I am not entirely sure. Probably some more socks, and maybe some more DK weight socks. They just go fast and they're bringing me a lot of joy. They're just really easy to work on right now. I have found myself really exhausted at the end of the day, so it is very simple just to knit on a pair of socks, and yeah, very enjoyable. I am going to, sorry, I lost my train of thought. There are some hat patterns that I have in my Ravelry library by Chit Chat Knits. Hi, Darcy. So she's had a lot of patterns come out recently that are just beautiful. So I would definitely encourage you to look at her patterns. But she's had a couple of hat patterns come out recently. One is a worsted weight, one is a DK weight. And so I have thought about, you know, casting a hat on. I have thought about starting work on another cowl, whether it be this one or a different one. I have yarn for a Christmas one, which I had showed back when we did the Merry Make-Along this summer. I have toyed with the idea of doing a shawl. My friend Brittany, who has the Turtle Burger Knit and Crochet podcast, I hope I have that right, Brittany. She is hosting a brioche make-along, which started, I think, October 1st, and I believe goes through the end of December. I hope I have that right. There is an Andrea Mowry shawl, and off the top of my head, I'm not going to remember what it is, but that is a brioche shawl, and I kind of would like to start that, but it's a big project. I think it uses 5 skeins of DK weight, so I have thought about that. I have pulled different skeins out of my stash and kind of looked at what I would want to do, but I haven't settled on anything. So we'll see what the mood strikes and how, what knitting projects will show up on the next episode. So I'm sure the next episode will be much fuller of whips and less finished objects. I do know one thing I want to cast on. I did not start my October dishcloth yet by the Kitchen Sink Shop, and it is already October 26th. So I think that probably will go on the needles. That may go on the needles tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, and work on it while it's still October. But no pressure. I'm trying not to put pressure on myself with my knitting. I still want to knit all the things, but trying to be a little bit more realistic. I do have some, what am I trying to say? Some new yarn to show you guys, and that will go into a little bit of chatter too. But I want to share this. A wonderful package came in the mail the other day, and this was from my friend Danny, who is the yarn dyer behind Lumberjack Yarn. Hi, Danny. She lives in Muskegon, Michigan, and I was able to meet her this spring when I went to visit my folks. So I hope when I go back to Michigan again sometime that we will be able to get together and hang out and knit again. But she has been very supportive of the podcast from very early on, and she sent me such happy mail. So this showed up in my mailbox this week and was such a wonderful surprise. So this, I don't know how it's showing there, but it's just like this electric purpley grape color, which I absolutely love. She's calling it a one-of-a-kind purple. It's on a sport weight base. It's 100% fine organic merino. So there would be enough to do a shawl there. And yeah, I just love that purple. Isn't that pretty? It's so squishy. Oh, I love this color, Danny. And then she sent one of her beautiful sock sets. And let's see, here is her logo. I hope you can see that pretty well. I hope you can see it okay. This is her fall 2022 sock set. I am going to pull this out so you can see how beautiful these speckles are. I just think that is absolutely gorgeous, and I will do my best to link her Etsy shop below, and you should check out her lovely yarns. But I just love this, and it came with kind of a teal mini. So Danny said, I could keep yarn or use for a giveaway. So what I usually try to do is keep one for myself, or keep something for myself, and then offer one as a giveaway. So I am going to keep this bright purple yarn. I love the sock set too, but I'm going to keep the purple yarn. I've been kind of digging for some shawl patterns. I think this would be fun to work on maybe in the spring. Gosh, that's just so pretty, that electric purpley grape color. And then pretty soon I will be doing a giveaway. We are really close to 700 subscribers. We've kind of been inching along for a while. I do check the numbers from time to time, so I know we're getting up there. So once we hit 700 and it stays around 700 or a little higher for a while, then I will do I will host a giveaway for this beautiful skein, this beautiful sock set. I just think that is gorgeous. So thank you, Danny, so very, very much. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your friendship. Thank you. Next, I have some yarn to show you that I purchased two weekends ago. Jenna and I had our fall break, her from high school, me from college, and we went up to the Mall of America, and about 15 minutes from the Mall of America, 15-20 minutes, is Stephen B, the yarn store. I think it's a pretty well-known yarn store, and that yarn store is in a old firehouse, 2 stories. It is just beautiful inside. It is just stunning. All of the yarn and displays. It's really fun to go in there. So Jenna did go with me, and I didn't want to hang out too. I mean, I could have stayed all day, and I probably would have wanted to buy the whole store too, but realistically can't do that. But I do want to share some of the lovely things that I got, and I did post these on Instagram already, so some of you may have seen these. But this is a new dyer to me. This is Northwood Fibers, and more DK sock yarn. This is called Hang 10. Just really bright, fun. And I might be into this kind of purple color because I purchased this first. And this is Neon Octopus. Aren't these great names? So I think, summery, they have summery or watery feel to them. But they are a 75-25 blend, the marine salt, superwash merino and nylon. So they will be perfect for some squishy DK weight socks. So I had toyed with the idea of casting on one of these. Just need to get to my ball winder and Swift. Which would you cast on first? I don't know. That purple is kind of calling to me, but the green is gorgeous too. So I got 2 skeins of yarn, and then Katrinkles. You might be familiar with her. She has really cute stitch markers and little trinkets, but this is a keychain or zipper pull, whatever you call it. And it's a sweater, and it says Stephen B. I can't see exactly what else it says. Be inspired. Stephen B. Be inspired. And the color work portion of the sweater is Stephen B.'s head. I just think that is so fun. So I'm going to clip this on one of my knitting bags. And then stitch markers, which are sweaters also. And they also have Stephen's head on them. So I don't know if you can see that. But I think that is so fun. So you can see that really brightness. You can see why that would appeal to me. So those were my acquisitions from going up to Mall of America as far as the yarn store when we went. Jenna and I had a really nice time. We're going to go into some chatter now. We had a really nice time going up there. Lots of good food to eat, time in the pool, good shopping. She loves the amusement park in the mall, so of course she wanted to do that, and she did get me to go on the log flume ride with her because it was open this time. It's not always been open, but it was open, so I did go on that with her, and it was a lot of fun. So just a really nice mother-daughter weekend. And then this past weekend, my husband Jeff, he played for a hymn festival on the organ up in Wausau, Wisconsin, and so I was lucky enough to get to go with him. So we left Friday, and it was about a 10-hour drive with minimal stops. So we went up Friday. Saturday, was the hymn festival. And then Sunday we had the 10 hours back. So it was very much a whirlwind weekend with all of the driving, very driving heavy. But the weather was so pretty in Wisconsin, just such a pleasant fall day. We stayed at a lovely bed and breakfast. It was called the Stewart Inn, a very historical home. It kind of had the feel of Frank Lloyd Wright architecture. This big king-size bed. It was just, you know, it was wonderful. So Saturday, Jeff was busy with some rehearsals and practicing, but Carla was not busy. So I got to walk. I walked from our bed and breakfast to a yarn store, and the yarn store was about 10 minutes, a 10-minute walk. So that was called the Black Pearl. A very nice yarn store. I didn't buy anything there. They had a lot of beautiful yarn, especially Madeline Tosh. But when I go, I guess I look sometimes more for a local dyer. So that's kind of what I was looking at when I went, or something unusual or something that I am not familiar with. So I did not purchase, although it was, you know, the Madeline Tosh yarn. If you know Madeline Tosh yarn, very, very tempting because lots of beautiful yarns. But I did spend some time talking to the owner of that store, and she was very nice and very pleasant to chat with. And then I walked back to the bed and breakfast and got to sit and do some knitting. Jeff and I walked back to downtown, which again was just a little hop, skip, and jump from our bed and breakfast. And we walked downtown. We found a little restaurant that does pizza by the slice. So we did that. We found a cupcake store. I love cupcakes. Just a little side note, whenever I go visit my son Ryan in Kearney, there's a cupcake store like a couple blocks from his house. So I always go visit there and bring back cupcakes for us. But yeah, we found a cupcake store, so that was fun. He had another practice time scheduled in the afternoon, so I went back to the bed and breakfast and I read part of my book for a little while. I'm still reading A Knitting Murder Mystery, which I had taken with me back in May when I went to visit my parents in Michigan. I still haven't finished this book, so that's just sad that I have not found time to read. I'm still reading it, but I did get a good chunk of time reading it, and I took a nap. I haven't taken a nap in so long. It was so nice. So Saturday was such a good day, and then we found a good place to eat for dinner, and then of course the hymn festival was wonderful. You know, I'm the proud wife. You know, I love hearing Jeff play, and it just yeah, hearing him play the organ is just, it's just great. So brag a little bit on my husband. Always so proud of him. So our weekends, you know, we've been busy with being gone a couple weekends. I know I shared in my last podcast that we had some car troubles. All of that, you know, all of the cars are fixed and working now, for which I'm very grateful. Our cat had surgery following my last podcast. So she actually had 9 teeth removed, but she is doing very well now. So I'm so thankful for that. So I feel like things maybe are calming down a little bit. And I say that right now before the wedding month in November. I know we're just at the end of October, but I feel like things have finally maybe just a little bit of a breather before we head into the lovely busy wedding month. So that's kind of what's been going on here. I have missed knitting, doing Zoom knitting, and I hope to do that again soon. So those of you who, you know, have Zoom knitted with me before, I will be sending out a message, you know, this coming week. I hope to do some Zoom knitting maybe next week or in the very near future. So I have missed, you know, knitting and talking with some of you. And if you haven't joined us for Zoom knitting and it's something that you would like to do, just send me a message on Ravelry or on Instagram and let me know that's something that you would like to do, and I can send you a link for that. I just wanted to say thank you to a couple people. One of my friends on Instagram reached out this week just to see how I was doing. I really appreciate that. That was really kind. I hope you know who you are. And then someone sent me a little card in the mail. I got that today, and it had a sheep sticker in and some little knitting cards like you would put on your projects. So just some really sweet things that really made my day and really brought some joy into my life. So doing this podcast and interacting with all of you brings so much joy into my life. I hope that you have enjoyed seeing my projects today and hearing about some of my yarny adventures. I hope I've shared everything that I'd like to today. Please feel free to comment down below. I do get back to those comments. I love interacting with you that way. If you haven't already, please give this episode a thumbs up and subscribe. Join in our make-along. With that, I will say goodbye, and I hope you all are doing well and are finding joy in your knitting or crocheting projects. And I will see you guys in a couple weeks. Take care. Bye-bye.